Hello again, Dadhichi here. Welcome friends to the month of October 2014. I was just thinking the other day, well not just the other day, but I think about it a lot, just how we know absolutely nothing. I mean that, even myself, I've studied astrology for 30 years and really I don't know anything. When I look at the vast amount of knowledge available in astrology, look at medicine. I just discovered the other day that all those years of cutting back on fats, they were all wrong. They didn't know anything, did they? So now apparently it's the starches, the sugars, the processed foods that have been putting those few extra pounds on my midriff area. Yep, we don't really know anything. And I'm amused even when I'm in debate or conversation. I step back and watch myself spouting all these sort of pieces of information and data. And these days, while that's happening, I'm sitting back thinking, Dadhichi, you don't know anything. What's that little thing there? Oh, I got it. we really don't know anything. It could have been one of those spirit, they say the spirits hang around. Sometimes they come in the form of those, what do they call them? Those little balls of light. This one is, there's this new one now I've discovered, they're little sort of specks of dust. Anyhow, I digress, but I'm saying as far as what we know, if you go back hundreds of years to what science knew, and now what we know that what science knew then was nothing. Even in the recent past, well, it's not so recent, but say the 60s, when women were being prescribed thalidomide, for example. And all those poor little babies came out without arms or legs. Medicine didn't know what they were doing. I'm just wondering how many things we supposedly know that we actually know nothing about. I'm thinking about that more and more. So on that point, I guess silence is golden. The real wisdom, according to the ancient astrologers, the seers and the sages, the best piece of advice I've received is that great mantra from gurus like Sri Ramana Maharshi, Punja Swami, two-word mantra, shut up. I need to do that more, I've been told by my wife and by a few people, and I believe them, probably because I know nothing. And the more I live, the more I realise how little I know, especially in this realm of astrology. There are so many different systems of astrology. We have the basic Western system of astrology. We have the Vedic system, that ancient Hindu form of astrology that I love dearly. I love it with a passion. But even there are so many different branches. There's electional astrology, the astrology for selecting specific times to do things. There's what we call horary astrology. It's called prashna, selecting horoscopes for the moment of a question to gain an answer. Natal horoscopy in different styles, such as the sage Jaimini, the sage Parasara. Then there's the what we call annual astrology based on the solar return. There are so many different styles of astrology, and in each and every one of those different styles, if you look at the vast amount of information that is there, we're only scratching the surface. Nadi astrology, which some of you know that I've talked about, which is the ancient record of all our histories, written thousands of years ago on palm leaves, accessed by our thumbprints. That's extraordinary, but it's true. And then you sit back as an astrologer like myself, trying to develop this knowledge. All I have to say again, and this seems to be the theme of today's introduction to October, is that I really do realise how I know nothing. It's just, you drown in this information. All we can do is just collate a little bit of the information and share what little we know with people like yourselves. It's very humbling. I guess I raised this issue this week because, the other night I was just looking up at the stars. Often all we do as astrologers is look at the bits of paper, the computer screen, but You know, when you take a little bit of time out, which I like to do occasionally, and just, you know, bathe in the moonlight. It was a full moon recently. Look up at the stars and just, you know, consider myself in the context. Then I really do know how little I know. That's the one thing I do know, how little I know. Anyhow, I think I've made my point tonight. Let's get on with the horoscopes. I hope you're going to gain some information. It's a very important month this month. There are a couple of eclipses, a total lunar eclipse, which is going to be visible, particularly in my birthplace of Australia, some parts of the US, that's the western part of the US, and well into Asia. So that's going to be very, very important, being a total eclipse, being visible in those areas. If you're in those areas, then this could be a very interesting few months. So let's talk about that a little bit more. I think I've done my piece for the introduction. I'll address the eclipse results for each of the 12 star signs, and thanks for joining me. Bye for now.